how can you build a society if you don't ensure your kids are okay? And being okay means, of course, being loved, but also food, healthcare, education. That's highly important. And why underage mothers, big kids. And well, I'm going to be honest, often I'm wondering if this pregnancy was really planned and if it was consensual.
And we're live here at Philia's PlayFest, and today we're here with 𝗣𝗵𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗀. But say, how do you pronounce it?
Oh, that's a bit long. In fact, my full name, I wouldn't say it, but part of it is 𝗣𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗍.
Wow. So Eric, a volunteer CEO of Philia Hayden. It's the first time I saw volunteer and the CEO. How did it happen?
Oh, in fact, it's quite a long story, which includes 𝗣𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗀 history. 𝗣𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗀 was founded by Belinda. She was born in Congo. Congo, yeah. And she arrived in Belgium at the age of 1 as a UN refugee. And she studied in Belgium, and nowadays she's an entrepreneur. And a few years ago, she went to her native place in Africa, in Congo. And obviously, she saw the difficulties that kids were facing there. So when she came back to Belgium, she decided to do something about that. And she launched 𝗣𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗀 with some friends. But, of course, as many people launching a humanitarian organization, they didn't know how to manage that. And Belinda and I, we have a contact in common. So we met, we discussed, and it became quite obvious at the end of the discussion that at that time they didn't have a budget to hire someone. And so I said, okay, you need my help? She said, yes. I said, okay, and you can't hire me? She said, no. I said, okay, no problem. I do agree to be a volunteer CEO, but I have a request. At that time, they were only acting in Congo. And I discovered the Philippines right after the lockdown. I came here for the first time after the lockdown. And, well, I faced the harsh reality of some kids in the streets and underage mothers. And I told the board, in exchange of my implication, I would like to ask you to start the mission in the Philippines. So this is how it happened, and this is why I am a volunteer here.
So let's talk about, before we go deep into why you choose the recipients, let's first start with what is Philia PlayFest and how did it start?
Oh, okay. I'm going to be 56 in April, and the team in Europe is extremely young, as here, as you I see. And one day I was in the train, and I read an article on the Huffington Post about an event, a fundraising event, which is called 𝗣𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗀 in France, which was the first streaming fundraising event that existed. And now it's quite a big thing. They raised millions of euros. And wow, I saw that. Well, last month, I think they raised something like 12 million euros.
12 million.
But they started a long time ago.
12 million times 50, around 50 plus, right?
Almost 70.
70.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, wow, okay. So the team and I, we chat on Signal, the chat app, and I shoot a message in, guys, do you think that it could work for us? And of course they were enthusiastic and yeah, young people. And one of the team members studies in the gaming university in Belgium. So he managed to have a meeting with the dean of the university in Belgium, who accepted to host the first Philia's PlayFest ever last year. So it was great. We managed to fund something like 7,000 meals thanks to this event. It was like here this time, 2 times 8 hours streaming, but we had Filipino streamers online last year. And at the end of the event, I was like, okay, that's great, but what about having the PlayFest also in Manila? So this is how it started, and of course, we got in touch with CIT and partners came, well, White Crowd came, and others like one in Manila.
The first PlayFest, was it also Philia's PlayFest?
Yeah.
So managed to raise millions.
No, 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 no. No, the first one is 𝗣𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗀. It's totally disconnected from us. No, no, we are way smaller than that. I hope we are big at that one day, but we are much smaller than that. So this is how it came to the Philippines, in fact, and it's happening this weekend. So we have a 48 hours streaming in Europe, 48 hours straight. And also there will be a cosplay competition as well in Belgium tomorrow. Roughly the same settings as here. Well, you can follow also on their Twitch channel, and there will be some interactions tomorrow. We will be live with them. We will see them, and they will see us and the kids that are coming tomorrow. And okay, this is a secret. I have started to ask them to learn how to say 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗀𝗏.
Wow.
Yeah.
At least the Philia's PlayFest is something good that is happening in the Philippines, considering that where the country right now is facing a lot of things. There were an earthquake disaster in Cebu and
I know.
and then there were flooding in a lot of areas. So there are a lot of disasters in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, why do you choose underage mothers and children?
Well, children are fragile human beings. And how can you build a society if you don't ensure your kids are okay? And being okay means, of course, being loved, but also food, healthcare, education. That's highly important. And why underage mothers? The kids. And well, I'm going to be honest, often I'm wondering if this pregnancy was really planned and if it was consensual. And well, I know that some people in some places on this planet say, well, they made a mistake, they have to pay for it. No, no, they're kids. And if they want to be able to take care of their family, of their baby, they need to be taken care of.
I think in the Philippines, teenage pregnancy is one of the biggest problems. And although there is suggested law supposedly addressing this, the stigma of the religion plays a very big factor. So I think that's a contributor to the problem. I would like to talk about how's Belgium different in addressing issues like this, for example, and what do you suggest? Let's be political noise.
Well,
What do you suggest should be?
I wouldn't dare to suggest anything to anyone on this planet.
How is it different?
It's highly different in Belgium, in France, and in some European countries, of course. Well, we have classes explaining that if you really have to have intercourse, well, you better protect yourself for several reasons. Well, there are some diseases and you have to be careful, and also unwanted pregnancy. So we have classes in our schools to prevent that. Also, and well, to be honest, our code of conduct is extremely clear at Philia, and during the streaming is whatever your race, whatever your gender, and whatever your religion, we are all together and we all respect each other. Okay? If you're a believer, great, welcome. You're a non-believer, welcome as well. We're not going to judge or reject anybody for that sort of thing. But the fact is that, for example, in Belgium and France, in some cases, you can stop an unwanted pregnancy. It's a horrible thing to go through, and to be honest, I think that it's better to protect yourself. So this is how it is dealt there. And also, I think that, well, probably the kids there, they have less time because they're going to school. You know that our schools are free as our healthcare. So the kids are going to school, so they have less time, and maybe this is how.
So in Belgium, it's more like a social democratic.
Oh yeah, you know, I have a Russian friend, a nice Russian, okay? Because nowadays it's a bit sometimes a bit difficult. So I always think, look, there are some nice Russians, and he's nice. But I discussed with him about the Belgian approach, and he told me, "Oh, so in fact, Belgium is the heir of the communist thing." And I was like, "That was a joke, of course." I was like, "Well, not exactly, but yes, we have an extremely protective social approach. Well, of course, nowadays budgets are tighter, so it's getting more difficult. But yeah, what I consider as necessary, such as education, healthcare, retirement. Yeah,
So I think that's a very heartwarming to hear that white children, because also they are our future, right? If we do not protect the children, how can we have good future? So about Philia's latest, how do you manage to organize this kind of event? I know it's kind of hard to organize events. I can be an event organizer as well. But what are your goals at the end of the event, and what's your expectation?
there are many. The first one is that you all have fun. It's important. It's important to have fun while you are doing something good. So I really want people to enjoy it wherever in Europe here. I want people to enjoy it and have a good memory about it. And people online as well. They want to have fun. And of course, the main target is raising funds. Because the more funds we have, the more kids and underage mother we can help. So this is, at the end of the day, this is the target, is to raise funds. Because, well, you know, I hope I won't shock anybody with that sentence, but what I say at the beginning of one of my lectures about fundraising at universities is money is like, sorry about that, sex. It's not dirty. It's not dirty. It's the way you live it and make other people to live it, which could be problematic. So money is not a problem. We need it. We need it. So we mustn't be ashamed of it. So at the end of the day, okay, sorry, we need your help.
That's something that's very relevant to what's happening right now in the Philippines. So Bali is not the problem. Sometimes it's how you use it and where you obtain it.
Yeah. And I would like also to thank our partners. This is one. I would like to thank our partners, our cosplayers, our streamers, all the people who got involved during the year in making this possible. And of course, I don't know if they're watching this on our Filipino Twitch, but if they do, I hope they hear that. Our European guys and girls, streamers and everything. Thank you all for everything. And well, I'm sorry I can't meet everybody, but I can tell you that every single person I met here was great. And I know that you are all great. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Eric.